ladies and gentlemen. We are here today, and so many things have happened and changed and occurred. Well, not too many, I guess. Some people are surprised by some of the things that have occurred. Some are not. Some are seeing forests before the trees. But that's a whole nother subject in itself. We're going to get to that today. Hopefully everybody's having a good is it afternoon or is it evening? We're in that little weird gray area, I guess. Gray area, kind of like the aliens. Grays, telepathic. Anyways. I guess what's been happening around here, what's been happening for everybody out there, something that did happen for me yesterday that was very interesting or maybe enlightening. I think a lot of people could actually learn from it more than just me in the moment. But obviously being over here in the central Iowa area doing some Uber, some people would be joking with me lately saying, oh, you're doing some Uber Eats. Hey man, I've been slinging it around $20 an hour, part-time, able to do all this other stuff and do that. But obviously, down here a little in the slumps and in the dumps over, the recent relationship stuff that some people have alluded to. Thanks, Spike, and all them assholes for bringing it up and making it a big deal. But, down in the dumps, feeling bad about this, bad about that. And two things happened last night. When you do this Uber Eats, you go out in the cities, you go out in the areas, you talk to people, you deal with customers, you deal with people working the regular old jobs, especially in the food service industry, can be really rough and kind of a position where you're running around there doing Uber Eats and talking on YouTube and making a little money. And, you see somebody, slinging freaking French fries well, I'll try to stay away from those areas, but making salads or just working a counter. And it almost makes you feel good, about, or at least makes me feel privileged in a way to be able to even attempt to do all this. But, obviously the personal stuff is a little different than the business stuff. And, you when interacting with people, you get to see a lot of personal things as well. And two things happened last night. One, I walked in to grab an order to take at one point, and there was a underdeveloped person there as far as mentally. And I have a soft spot in my heart for them, but it was a female person, and she just kept looking at me, and it was weird. It was almost like, and I tried to, look away and just, how you doing? And all that. And it wasn't really a look of like, who are you or all this? It was more so like a look of infatuation. It was a look of attraction. And, I didn't really know how to take it in the moment, but then when I got back to the car, I was sitting there thinking, and I was like, man, as sad as I could be about some of the stuff that's happening to me in my personal relationship life right now, how would it feel like to be her? How would it feel like to be her, someone who could have the same feelings of relationships and loves and all this stuff, but kind of ain't ever going to even attempt it. At least we're out here, no matter how good or bad or whatever relationship issues people may be having in their lives or have had or are having, or maybe you're having it great. We at least get to attempt it and comprehend it, and in the same aspect of kind of looking at, somebody who's doing a lesser enjoyable job than, or a living than what I get to do, and feel, and kind of having that humbleness to be appreciative of what you got. Even in that same relationship sense, that's very true to some of the situations out there. And it didn't even end there. I had that moment, you start thinking about other things and just life and where you want to go and what you want to be. And it was probably an hour or two later, I'm just going and doing. And, I usually when you go to take, this is a delivery sense and what happened here. And usually when you're delivering, you get out, you drop the deal at the door, take a picture, you knock, here's your food, whatever. Sometimes people meet you outside or whatever, make it easy on you. But yesterday I turned the corner and there was a guy standing outside, and I was like, okay. And he turned to come towards the car, and I said, "Are you blah blah blah?" He said, "Yes." And I noticed he had something in his hand, and it was a damn stick to see where he was going because he was blind. After he got closer, I turned the corner. I could tell that the guy was blind, using the stick to tell out where he's walking. And I'm sitting there like, how did you order Uber Eats, for one? And then I'm like, well, hell, I mean, guys, people like that, I would do it for free, for crying out loud. But two kind of very, and I've had these moments throughout traveling, going and seeing and experiencing, and obviously I've been in some low lows, living out of the car in LA, and living out of the car 4 years straight, and then there's highs to that and lows to that as well. There's yin and yangs to everything, but, there's just things that I think sometimes people take for granted, even like I said, my relationship sense, you got the example there of a person who will never even comprehend, and some people may say that's better that they never get to figure it out, who knows. But and then the guy who's blind ordering Uber Eats, it's like, hell, we get to see, don't we get to look around, we can get on our phone and you can swipe TikTok for 6 hours, while this guy's never ever gonna see a TikTok in his life, so just some things that happened to me yesterday while running around town slinging the old Uber Eats to make some money. Hopefully earn enough to go over there to the Dome next week. PRI is this week, actually. And we do have that up on the board for one of the first things we're gonna talk about. We only got a few things. Like I said, we're going to start doing this about an hour every day on Monday, or Monday through maybe Saturday, Monday through Friday for sure, about 5 o'clock Central, 6 Eastern. Of course, tonight, after the show, give it about an hour. I believe it's 7 Central, 8 Eastern time. David Gravel's going to be having Shark Racing on their YouTube channel. Or over there on the Gravel Show on his YouTube channel. So stay tuned to check that out. But there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. Like I was just saying, PRI. And one of the most amazing things to come out of PRI here recently is this one. This is actually cool. I have never personally seen this before, but this is a post from Performance Racing Industry, and it's the Bill Stein shot car. Looks like a Longhorn or Bill Steen. Somebody tell me if it's Bill Stein or Bill Steen. There's, tomato. You can say it either way, I guess. But Longhorn Chassis provided this car, and it looks like they have hoisted this late model into the upper section, into the sky. I don't know. I mean, I would assume that this is kind of like a preview of what you could see if you get there. That does kind of look like PRI. I mean, I'm assuming that's what this is. But I have never seen them. It looks like they got the car in stance as well and have it on an angle to where it's like in a banking scenario. And they have hoisted this late model up 150 years, Bill Steen, into the air. So this is really cool. It almost makes me want to take off to PRI. It almost does. But I don't think it's going to happen. Regardless, this is really badass. And if you go to PRI this week, check it out. Really cool, interesting scene, scenario. I'll probably be at the Dome if you want to see me, but look at that. That is cool. I've never seen that. Never seen somebody hoist a late model into the air and suspend it. That is just insane. So checking that out. Another thing that I thought was really cool. I don't know who this is, but this guy has done the racing world justice here. Rockstar Raps on Facebook. Go check this guy out, man. Obviously, we're seeing a Bloomquist. This is called his fantasy series of sprint cars here, and this is just really, really cool. what this guy has here. You see the Bloomquist car. He got some background that goes with it. But check out all these cars that this guy has. He's went and done old school. He's went and took like old school cars and wraps and have mixed them with like newer schemes and cross cars, transgender vehicles. I don't want to say that, but with the Bloomquist and look through here. Look at these. That's a red Farmer sprint car, and these were all posted December 1st, so just a few days ago. Look at that car. Oh my God, that is gorgeous. And thank God that someone besides Blackbeard is putting race cars out there for people to see. I hope more graphic designers look at what this guy's doing, and if you don't, go to him. Actually, he deserves to get your business. But other graphic designers might want to wake up and say, oh, there's other ways to design a car besides the KKR Blackbeard lookalikes for 30 freaking years. I mean, come on now. That's a badass scheme. That instantly puts you above everyone else. Something like that. Randy Turner car, Mike Ward car. Look at that, old school. Nick Hoffman, he did a fantasy series of the Nick Hoffman sprint car. I mean, look how badass that is. Now, still, that's down the Blackbeard alley, but once again, the guy who designed freaking Nick Hoffman's modified is based in the Blackbeard alley. All this little hard cut, sharp kind of, endowed bookend style designs. These are all based on the Blackbeard designs that came out with Casey Kane Racing in the sprint car division. What was it, 20 years ago? And everybody just copycatted it and flared it up since. Let's see here. Mike Brooks, there's a little throwback. He's got some throwbacks. These are called, all of these you're about to see is called Fantasy Series. Fantasy Series. Go check these out on his Facebook. Giving him a big plug here. Rockstar Raps. Rockstar, one word. Johnny Anderson. Look at that. Look at that. James McAreath. Martin Edwards actually did a car like this and was very close, and he raced it a few years ago. Brian Burkoffer. Look at that. That's slick. Bobby Unser Jr. Some of these are old school dirt racers with a new flair. Doug Wolfgang. Billy Moyer. Look at that, man. Look at that. Billy Moyer sprint car. Danny the Dude Lasowski, original 22 car. But look how slick that would look on a new car. And then the Bloomquist car, of course, that people saw here. Rick Pennell. Some of these I don't recognize, but Parnelli Jones, how can you not? But look at the slickness on that. My lordy B. That is just so slick. Rick Unger. How about that one? Tim Green, a new edition of Tim Green. And look, he even got some NASCAR guys in here. Sterling Marlin, Ernie Irvin, John Andretti, Ron Schumann throwback with the 7R. That's legit. Bobby Isaac, Lee James. I like that. Alex Zanardi. A little bit of a spin off of the Indy car. That's really slick looking. Look at that. There's Sam Hornish Jr. Not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of that, especially when that looks pretty slick. This one, Paul Newman. How about that? Paul Newman. Kevin Doty. And he's got a ton of them. Look, Adam Petty. That's legitimate. Mike Peters. Another Doug Wolfgang Weichert car. Travis Pastrana. Now, this needs to happen. You know, Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet, y'all want to bring some more eyes to the sprint car scene? Somebody needs to throw Travis Pastrana in a sprint car. We already got him warmed up with the modified at Volusia last year. It's time to up the ante. The Camel Express, Jim Nace. Got the center, the number in the center of the wing. I'll be interested to see if a couple more guys started to maybe throw out that. People already argue about the number being at the front of the wing. What if we did how would it go if there was a center number wing style that started coming out? Look at that, Bobby Pierce in the sprint car. Now, see, that's one guy I think could handle a wing sprint car very well from the late model world. Guys like Ricky Thornton Jr., Bobby Pierce, Tyler Erbs. We saw Donnie Moran give it a shot, or sorry, not Donnie Moran, but Moran give it a shot. Some of these late model guys could do really, really well. A Johnny Johnson throwback there. That's a late model. Ooh, that's slick. Bill Fry. Al Unser Sr. There's a Freddie Smith. Numbers in the middle. Bazooka. That actually looks pretty slick with those big double zeros up there. Jay Johnson. Look at that. Bobby Unser. Aaron Berryhill throwback. But Lynn Paxton, that is sweet looking. Wow. This guy took a lot of time to make. I mean, these are full-blown wraps ready to go. And he just did this as a fantasy series. Hopefully, if it was, and the only reason I could think of it is for publicity, and he's definitely done a hell of a job here. I mean, he's on the Chaz right now with these things. These things are slick, pad to the bone. I mean, who wouldn't want this style on their sprint car? Just something different. Carter Anderson, AJ Foyt on a 5 right there. Sheldon Kinzer, Brent Lacey. Really like that. That's nice. Ramos Stout, I think that is. But that's pretty cool with that gold little accent in there. That says Carter Anderson. Looks like we may be getting to some real ones. Gordon Johncock, I guess that's what it says. Bobby Allison, that's pretty. That's pretty. Then Al Unser Sr. Sammy Swindell, old Milwaukee car. The number 1 a little further back than usual. It's nice. Randy Smith. Charlie Swartz. Bobby Marshall. Look at that thing. Look at that. Jody Stevenson. Some of these numbers and just colors are nice. Tim Richmond on the 55. Another Doug Wolfgang Speedway 4X car. Richard the Gas Man Griffin right there. Leonard McCarl. That was nice. Leonard McCarl. Let's go back to that one. That's nice. A little blue. I would have put maybe a gray background so you could see the car a little better, but. Dale Blaney. Another Dale Blaney throwback. Gary Bittenhausen. That's pretty sick right there. I like that. Then you got the Dale Sr., Lee Osborne. I mean, Jan Opperman. Look at that, how that fades on the hood. Look at that fade on the hood down the side of the car. That would sell. Rick Weld, and then back to his regular wraps. But regardless, go check this guy out and see your favorite one, share your favorite one. And I know if you got a sprint car and you're out there about to do some kind of wraps or something like that, I mean, some of these styles out here, go talk to your graphic artist. We're tired of seeing Blackbeard copycats for 25 fucking years in sprint cars. Let's do something different here. And maybe go after something, something like that. That looks legitimately slick. That would stand out above. I'm not saying copy the guy, but I feel like most people have been copycatting Blackbeard for 25 years. So let's just wait and see what the KKR cars do and then go off of them. But some of these are different designs, different looks, different ways of fading colors. Of course, I've done race cars in the past. Actually, I had one of my cars featured in Sprint Car Midget magazine back in the day. It's actually a really nice wrap that I did one time. But anyways, go check him out. That is Rockstar Wraps. Rockstar Wraps. Let's check into the chat real quick. We're only going to be on here until about the top of the hour. But we can see what people are saying on the chat here. Oh, wrong one. Hold on. Oh. Maybe not. Well, I think let's see. Here we go. All right. Bam. Chad's engaged. Where's Clark? Hi, Chaz, you handsome guy. Okay, great. We'll just get into it. Because there is a lot of stuff to talk about here today. Yeah, these are just extremely badass. I can't believe them. Rockstar Wraps on Facebook. I don't know if he has a website or anything like that, but that is just amazing. Amazing work right there. Headlines of the day. Let's get down to it. One of the things that some people saw, some people didn't. David Gravel and Michael Pickens going to be in the Chili Bowl now. They have joined this Abacadabra Racing or something like that. And it looks like it'll be a 3-car team with Tyler Courtney, Michael Pickens, and David Gravel at the 2024 Chili Bowl. Definitely adding some spice to the lineup there. And I think Chili Bowl kind of needs it with Rico being gone. Obviously, Larson not announcing any type of return. So that's a really big ordeal there to get somebody into the lineup that's actually going to, bring some eyes. And how would David Gravel now, I would say, anyone in the motorsports world, or if you were coming into sprint car racing, I would say that David Gravel is your face of the world of Outlaws now. I mean, who else is the face of the world of Outlaws sprint car series? It has to be David Gravel. The 5-time champion's gone. So you got the face of the World of Outlaws coming in, the face of New Zealand midget speed car racing. I would say that's fair for Michael Pickens. And then Tyler Courtney, Sunshine. We still ain't heard where Sunshine is going, although a lot of people are telling me he is high limit, but I don't know. We'll see. That Outlaw schedule is very alluring for a bunch of people. So interesting moves here. You also had J.J. Hickle sign up to drive the number 7 car that people have seen over the years that Justin Henderson has raced. J.J. Hickle going to be moving into that car here in 2024. They have yet to release a schedule. You can check out more. I'm sure y'all seen this across your socials and read the stories potentially, but good deal to see J.J. Hickle. I know a few years ago, once again, people saying we don't help racers and all this stuff. A couple years ago, we were down at the Short Track Nationals. J.J. Hickle was, battling for an ASCS National Sprint Car Series Championship. He was telling me how the team was folding up. What can you do? I was like, well, we can interview you and get the word out of you being on the market. Did a video, got the word out. The guy with the gray 25 car saw the interview. That's how he got the ride at Knoxville, qualified for the Knoxville Nationals, and he attuned that was a part of us or me helping him reach that eye. And then he's been on the trail of national sprint car racing since, and this is a very good car and potentially a very good combo as well. So it'd be interesting to see how J.J. Hickle does in this 7 car. And then, of course, some people were surprised, I guess. We said it on the show the other day when somebody asked us about Robbie Price and sides. I said I would think that Landon Crowley is potentially going to go to that car and they'll run for Rookie of the Year. I think I even said that when David Gravel and Rico was asked last week, has anybody running for Rookie of the Year yet? And I think I commented Landon Crowley, hint, hint. And this will be an interesting thing, and a lot of people don't know about Southern racers a lot of the time. I feel like a lot of good talent does get wasted or does get ignored is a better way to put it. I mean, these people aren't like in control of where they're born and how they are able to race. I mean, racing's already expensive and hard to do anyway, but similar to a Devin Borden, another guy we helped get over into PA, or J.J. Hickle, there's a lot of good racers in these little pockets that don't really get no national attention unless you're a PA boy or a Knoxville boy or Ohio or West Coast guy. Outside of that, they do race sprint cars in other areas that just don't get that hype, don't get that attention. Landon Crowley has performed decently well on the ASCS ranks, has run a few midget races, has done okay. Obviously, Jason Sides, Tim Crawley, his dad, years upon years of rivalry racing in the ASCS heydays, I would call it, the 90s and early 2000s before Sides went to the outlaw level. So obviously personal relationship, probably a proximity relationship between the Sides and the Crawley family. And, you already had Sides take somebody like a Robbie Price out onto the national scene and get him some laps and put him in front of a stage. And I feel like that's basically what we're going to get right here. Robbie Price had potential. Let's not act like Robbie Price didn't have some potential. He was fast at times. Was he ever dominant winning? No. But I think Landon Crawley slides in that same category of some potential. And who knows how high or how low that potential is. It's a guesstimation situation right here. Now, if he comes out and sets fast time and looks good first night out, we can't just proclaim that he's going to dominate the world like we did Tanner Holmes, or we'll look like an idiot in 3 weeks. But Southern racers, there are a lot of talented Southern racers. Riverside, like I said, Texas. When the Outlaws go and the high limit goes to some of these Southern tracks here, like Kennedale and Big O and Riverside, do not be surprised if you see some local regional guys pop up on your screen beating some well-established drivers that you've heard of and thought of were so amazing all these years, because you're finally going into these other areas where there are 1 or 2 good, badass drivers. They just ain't getting that national attention. And in that light, I do like seeing Landon Crawley get a shot out there on the road, not just for, younger guys or anything like that, because I'm certainly not for that at all, But for that region of the country to get some eyes and light shined on it just a little bit, obviously with the schedules that have come out this year, the South early in the year next year, March and April, they're basically going to be opening the sprint car season. So a lot of attention is going to be in that region. Somebody like Landon Crawley with the 7S car could potentially do some damage early in the year next year, going to these new tracks the Outlaws ain't used to that he in his ASCS career has. I believe High Limit is going to Texarkana 67 Speedway, a track that Tim Crawley, his dad, just took over here recently and has brought the short track nationals over and has done some improvements at that facility, at that speedway. A really badass short track quarter mile. And you know, Landon Crawley, I'm sure, is going to have some opportunities there to perform well. So this is going to be very interesting to see. I like it personally. I like the pick. If you're going to bring us a young racer, let's bring him from an area that you're at least from. I do like that as well. Jason Sides is from that area. You think if he was going to give back in any kind of way or give a guy a shot, it should be from that region of the country. You know, it was cool to give Robbie Price a chance, but as far as West Coast guys and national opportunities, there's been, I would say, far more than people from the South. I mean, you could say Aaron Reitzel or Sam Hafertepe Jr., but both of these guys had to pretty much self-fund their opportunities in the very early beginnings. I mean, Aaron Reitzel had it a little harder than Sam Hafertepe Jr. did, I think. But regardless, there's just not a lot of opportunity for the talent that is born and raised down there. There just are good drivers down there, just stuck running 305s or 360s, not getting no attention. So I like this in multiple areas, multiple scenarios, and nobody, if you listen to the Chaz, should have been surprised because we've been saying this for a week now, just haven't said it was official. Let's see what the chat thinks about Landon. Oh, they're already wanting to get this to Chase Raudman. All right. They're wanting to get the Chase Raudman, the nitty-gritty. They don't even care. They don't even care about Landon Crawley. They just want to talk about the real news. Oh, the real news. The betrayal or the outlaw. Now, of course, just talked about Aaron Reitzel. I guess this 8 car is going to have two cars, kind of. One at Knoxville for Aaron Reitzel and the Midwest, and one on the tour with High Limit with Cory Eliason. Is a good driver. Cory Eliason, you know, coming up when he did, I've heard he was one of the best out of California they've ever seen, and then just didn't get to that potential that everybody thought he would get to. We'll see. Couple of years under his books, kind of like that Jake Browning or whatever for the Bengals. Maybe he needed a few years to develop, and now he can perform on a high stage and outperform the best of them. We'll see how that works out. And then, of course, this is interesting thing I did notice, the All-Star Circuit of Champions. This is the East Bay Winter National schedule. All-Star Circuit of Champions, according to East Bay, is still alive and well. They are scheduled for February 12th and 13th at the East Bay Raceway Park. Now, of course, we all know that is High Limit, but for some reason, down there, they don't. Next. Maybe this guy will solve all the world's problems. Is this guy going to be the one to give him a phone call and tell him, hey, we need you to change that all-star thing to a High Limit for promotional purposes? Chase Raudman, Mr. Fast Four himself, has pulled the veils over the eyes of the public and ripped them out. It wasn't a veil. It was sticky tape. Just wham and ripped them out. Better wake up. And Chase Raudman has now went from the World of Outlaws field reporter guy, interviewing drivers, dash draw, to the lead announcer at the High Limit Racing Event Organization Series, whatever you want to call it. Did anyone truly see this coming? Now, obviously, there's been a bunch of switches. You know, they lost their little lapping timer guy, the little Anthony asshole, whatever his name is. I know he tried to get me kicked out of Stockton. I had to get with Tony over there at Stockton to let me in 2019 because he was trying to keep me from the premises. And then obviously Wikipedia went with High Limit, you know, the Outlaw guy. I mean, Walkipedia would work for High Limit as long as in the contract it guaranteed him 2 selfies and a lunch the next day with Kyle Larson, the biggest Larson night in the history of motorsports. So everybody should have known that Walkipedia was going to go to High Limit. I wouldn't be surprised if that's not in the contract. And also a captain died at the end is a requirement. And then of course Mike Hess has went that direction. I do like that Kendra Jacobs is over there running stuff. I think Kendra Jacobs, how she talked, especially in that Sprint to the Million video, is the exact type of leadership we need in the sport. But it's interesting. Kendra Jacobs, Cody Jacobs, crew chief of David Gravel's sister, so it's all together, anyways. I think in a way, but I really am impressed with how she talked and how she projected the sport, and the passion that she spoke with was very important. But now Chase Raudman, who, I mean, is it fair to say that out of all the announcers, a lot of people are guessing Chet Krishner, and maybe that's going to happen. I don't know. But out of all the options of announcers potentially for High Limit, even myself, I mean, and maybe me and Chase are in the same kind of boat here, is, yes, Chase Raudman has a background in announcing like I do, but most people in the modern world have never heard Chase Raudman announce a race. Ever. I mean, honestly, if you're asking yourself, have you heard Chase Raudman do play-by-play of an event? Can you tell yourself yes? I don't think we can. So, even though I think Chase Raudman, like I said, Mr. Fast 4 Media himself, everybody knows, if you know what that means, you know. He has a background in announcing, but to take over and go up against, you know, the teacher and the student of Johnny Gibson, now to go up against him, because that's what that is now. This is Chase Raudman versus Johnny Gibson. For someone who has not really announced recently, publicly, on the big stage that the world gets to hear and analyze and comment and critique, because they're coming for you. They critique Johnny Gibson. They critique freaking all these people. That's why I sit here and do whatever the hell I want, because you could sit there and try to be perfect for everyone, and there's going to still be people hating and critiquing you. But now you're going to debut to the public, most of the public, as an announcer with the biggest threat in sprint car history of the world of Outlaws next year against your former master teacher, Johnny Gibson. I mean, they say that this High Limit deal is risky all the way around and taking a leap of faith. That is kind of what this is. And I'm not doubting Chase Raudman can get it done. I've heard him announce. He's damn good. But how's the pressure? How's the reaction going to be when you go out there and people don't like it? I mean, even in the section down here, you got some people who are doubting what's going to happen. And people are saying it's congratulations, he will be awesome and all that stuff. But there's doubters in here too. But it is awesome. Like I said, they're being nice about it. But he did actually have some other words as well for the country, for people. I've seen some doubters. Sorry, there wasn't any there. And that's good. I think people need to be positive. Chase Raudman, a couple of these people out here working, they're busting their ass off, trying to advance into the racing world in the position in a way. Yeah, sometimes people think that you're just a field reporter guy, but it's just like me. Some people think I'm just a sit here talker guy, and then I go and do a song here, do a song there, or do this, or vlog, or music video, or documentary, and it's like, wow, you can do that, or like intros to Bristol. It's like, wow, you're not just a talker guy. So this is an opportunity for him to say, I'm not just a field reporter guy. This was some of his words that he actually posted to his personal Facebook. He said, thank you, World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series and Dirt Vision. And he tagged High Limit Racing. He said, yesterday I parted ways with the World of Outlaws and Dirt Vision to pursue a new role as the series announcer for the High Limit Racing Series. It's always been a dream of mine to do play-by-play for a national sprint car series. So when this opportunity was presented, it was very, very tough to ignore. I love how some people know how to type. Thank you, Chase Raudman, for writing things that are easily readable. Now, hopefully I don't mess up as I continue here. It will certainly take some time to get comfortable, and I hope everyone understands that at the beginning, the announcer is that at the beginning. There it is. The announcer is such a crucial part of a successful broadcast, whether that is racing or any other sport. So for Mike, Brad, JP, Kyle, and Kendra to trust me with that is a huge honor. I have to say you to, or I don't know why does it say that? Great. Once again, I have to say to you, Brian Dunlap, who took a chance 3.5 years ago on an unproven 26-year-old and allowed me to hold a microphone. Hold on. Is this even right? Okay, yeah. I got to see if it's cut off here. Yeah, it looks like it is. All right, here we go. I have to say to you, Brian Dunlap, who took a chance 3.5 years ago on an unproven 26-year-old and allowed me to hold a microphone at a World of Outlaws event and quite literally changed my life. Thank you to Jim Chappelli, I think I nailed that, for helping hone my skills as a pit reporter and mold me into what I am today. Also, thank you to Johnny Gibson, who I have learned so much from over these last few years. It was a dream come true to call you a broadcast partner. Also, Jackson Still, Zach Aaron Hank Silver. Is that a name? Zach Aaron Hank Silver. Interesting. And Cage Sharp. Thank you guys for the friendship and memories that I will forget. I will never forget. Might want to forget here in a minute. You never know. Thank you to the fans of the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series as well. I've met some awesome people in the last 3 years. See you guys at East Bay. I don't know, Chase. According to East Bay, you do not have a high limit date. I mean, once again, East Bay is not recognizing the high limit Sprint Car Series. East Bay Raceway Park Winter Nationals 2024. They got y'all down, or they don't have y'all down. They got a 410 All-Star Sprint Series, ASCOC, and Mod Lights, Monday and Tuesday, February 12th and the 13th. So I don't know if you will see them at East Bay, according to the East Bay Raceway schedule here for their final Winter Nationals. But touching things, and I've heard a lot of people say, that a big contributor to some of these people making the switch over to high limit is the schedule. Like, the schedule's a little less. It's going to be a little easier. Take some time off, man. And I was like, okay, I could see that. And it does sound, because that's that freedom factor that you've been hearing them say, oh, we're only racing 60 times and have some time off to spend with the family. We've heard these things said, randomized, freedom factor deals. And so I was sitting here thinking about the schedule that I just went over the other day, Outlaw and High Limit. I'm like, hold on. Let's go see when they're actually, where is this freedom of a schedule? Let's see what the freedom of a schedule is. And I went to looking into it about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, and doing all this research today. And look, guys, I mean, this is the High Limit Sprint Car Series schedule right here. And this is that Freedom Factory schedule, racing less, more money, right here. And I got to say, guys, so obviously 2 weekends or 4 dates, 2 events in February. And then March is off. Obviously, we think these teams will go race somewhere in March, but March is off. Typical kind of all-star idea. March off, come back in April. But once April starts, guys, I don't want to say y'all saying that it's a easier schedule as April Fools. But I have to say, it's pretty damn close. Because I'm looking at 9, 12, 13, 14, 16, 19, 20. And it looks like 1 week off, but then May looks like every single weekend in May, including 1, 2, 3 midweek dates. 4 if you're including Thursday in New York. We get to June, and you have 3 midweek dates. Yes, there's time off in here, but that is for Houston's High Bank Nationals, which maybe for media people, they're going to take off. But if you're in the swing of things, is that really a break? The teams, we know you're going to go to High Limit or to the Houston's race, aren't you, for $250K? So that week's off. Does that really count as an off week? It does for High Limit, but just look, that's That's like I say, kind of 1 week off because they come back and race the following Wednesday after High Banks. And then it seems like everyone in the world is off in July 4th weekend, but at the same time, that's PA Speed Weeks also. And then we get going for all the stuff in July with Kings Royal into August. You got look, 1 weekend, a midweek date, 2 midweek dates, obviously leading up to the Kings Royal. Then you got a Tuesday race at Lernerville, and then you take a week or 2 week issues off for Knoxville. Okay, so we're pretty much so far we're racing every damn week, and in the middle of the week with time off for big World of Outlaw events and PA Speed Week or home with the family, like World Racing Group and everyone's saying home with the family July 4th week or July 4th week, even though there's races to go and attend. So then after Knoxville, you're going all the way to California, and you're racing 10 days. How many days is this? So you're racing from August 15th to August 31st. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. So that's 16 physical days from the 15th to the 31st. And you're racing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times in a 16-day span. And then you're flying, hopefully for media members, or you're driving for racing teams all the way to Port Royal for 1 weekend, 2 weekend, 3 weekends, 4 weekends, or well, I guess you could call it 4 weekends with the mid dates, but also you want to keep they're staying off right here of the Williams Grove National Open. You're racing every week, and then once again another weekend of Texas Motor Speedway, October 11th and 12th. So the notion, this is all I'm saying, and I didn't even think about looking at this until I saw people saying, and even someone said to me here at the house, oh, it's probably because the high limit schedule is just more chillax. You know, they're only racing 60. They're not racing 86 or 80, whatever it is the Outlaws are doing. It's not that grueling schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're racing, this is not Lucas Oil World Outlaw late model scenario where there's 2 and 3 week emptinesses for fun or span. Now it's somewhat because they're off for the World Outlaw big events. Obviously, the Outlaws ain't taking off for their big events, but you can't race the other way. I do think that High Limit would rather work with the World Outlaws any day of the week than the World Outlaws even want High Limit to exist. I don't think they want the High Limit series to exist. But the notion that there's all this freedom and not as grueling of a schedule, I guess if you're considering a month of March as the difference, although March across the country really ain't beautiful weather, maybe stay in Florida and have a good old time. But as far as this notion of time with family and this, that, and the other with this high limit schedule, I'm just not seeing this big gap of time off. Especially when you're throwing in these midweek races that do have to be ran if you're going for a championship. And you're considering these off weekends are where there's established marquee events like the Kings Royal and the Knoxville Nationals and the now Huset's High Banks Nationals. So I'm just not seeing this chillax, easy schedule that everyone's talking about. You may say there's a little bit of a decent gap between July 23rd and August 15th. And there is, but once again, that's Knoxville, Nationals, 360s and 410s. And then when you get back from having your time off, if you don't choose to go to the biggest sprint car race in the world, you're now going to go on a 16-day, 11-event run from middle California all the way up to almost fucking Canada. And then you're going to drive your ass across the country to Pennsylvania. And then work every single weekend, 2 midweek shows, 3 midweek shows, and another week in Texas to end the year within a month and a week's time, within a 5-week period. So I don't think that this is basically a decision based on chillax scheduling. I don't think anybody picking High Limit based on researching and looking at this is picking it based on a chillax schedule, especially any race teams. because it's kind of a little bit more when you add in those dates that are World of Outlaw marquee events, that there's gaps in this for. I would say that both series, if you were to count those marquee events, both series are around the 70 or 80-ish mark anyway. So I'm just not seeing this chillax schedule. This decision that is being made, I think in Chase Raudman's department, is opportunity. I think that's why he's making it, opportunity to do more, not putting a cap on his ability in the racing world, and high limits giving some opportunities. Now, the other guys who are going over from the World of Outlaws, like I said, Walkopedia would do that job for an autograph on a T-shirt from Kyle. I mean, the guy just falls over onto his junk three times a day, 365 days in a week. I mean, he dreams of this stuff. So, I mean, that's given. I mean, the timing and scoring okay. Mike Hess, I get that. I get that a lot. They needed some structure, flows, throwing money where it's needed. But I think most of the time it's just decisions or opportunities. And I think that's the bigger one here with Chase Raudman. But the schedule that people are saying is free and easy and chillax, I'm just not seeing it, guys. I'm not seeing chillax schedule. I'm seeing gruel. And I'm seeing just as hard as an Outlaw schedule outside of March. And if March is that important to you, I mean, March 3rd, 1983 is about the only one important to me. But I'm just saying. Regardless, let's see what y'all are saying. We'll get over here into the chat section. Throw up your super chats if there has been any. Let's see here. Let's get some reaction on what I just had to say here before we get out. Hit the like for the Chaz. Come on. Yes, thank you. We did have a super chat. It was from Bruce Smith. Sent me a balloon and a number 5. Is that for a high five? Can we do a digital high five? I like that. Let's celebrate their 5th super on a live stream. Well, I'm glad you chose me. Let's scroll on up here and see some. Chase Raudman is huge, leaving Dirt Vision. Tough to replace him. Apparently, he's already replaced. I think it might be with the guy from Husitz who did some stuff with Dirt Vision last year. I think he went out to Eldora to help with the King's Roll. I forgot what that guy's name is. I think he did some stuff with Knoxville. I think that guy from Husitz is probably who's going to replace him. That's just a hint in my own mind that I think. No information or knowledge of it at all. Brandon Hanks says, happy for him. Brandon Hanks, also the driver who lost a race car to Landon Crowley, who plowed into him about a month ago at that Power Eye show. So you're happy for Chase Raudman. Are you happy for Landon Crowley getting a World Outlaw ride on the sake of your whole front end getting ripped off and destroying your race car, sir? That was his debut in that ride. How do you feel about that, Brandon Hanks? Why ain't you getting promoted? You got more wins than him, don't you? Back to nepotism monarchy. Maybe Brad Sweet, high limit Chili Bow next year. Maybe not. Chase will do well with high limit. We'll see. How much money is that cost high lit? I don't know. It should be a decent amount. I think I translated that. That's kind of the redneck way to say how much money did it cost high limit to get Chase Raudman? How much money is that cost high lit? I translated that in my own personal mind of the redneck Rosetta Stone. So that's how I was able to answer your question, Luke. Thanks. Let's see. Every week, Monday, announces iRacing Sprint Cars Pro Series. I didn't know that. Good job. Spot on for you in Dirt Vision, or spot open for you in Dirt Vision, Chaz. Not going to happen. I'm not going to kiss Kyle's ass. I sure as hell ain't going to kiss Carter's. A background in announcing or interviewing. He has a background in announcing. I believe it was out at Red Bluff, Fast 4 Media, the Outlaw kart scene over there. And apparently we just learned he's the iRacing pro announcer. I'm pretty sure Chase announced on an event last year or the year before when Johnny was sick. No, that was at Eldora, I believe, and Blake Anderson, I believe, stepped in for Johnny Gibson. Or maybe he forced through it, not sure. Dirt Tracker and Chase are taking it to the top next year. That makes no sense to me. He has announced an iRacing. Okay, we're getting all that. So will Hannah Newhouse now get Chase Raudman's gig with the Outlaws? Possible, but like I said, I think for some reason in my mind, that guy who does Husitz, he came and did some, I don't know if it was Knoxville he helped with, or if it was something at Eldora with the Outlaws, but he was involved, and when I see that happen, I'm like, okay, they're testing him out, and this is kind of a situation where you need a younger guy, knowledgeable, does pit reporting. I believe he does a little bit at Husitz. I think, and obviously the relationship with Husitz and the World Racing Group, I think that would be a slot over promotion, get a new guy at Husitz. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. Face it, he was never going to get a chance at the booth with World of Outlaws. Johnny Gibson has that gig till he decides he's done, which I don't think Johnny Gibson's ever going to give that up. Kind of sounds like sour grapes since High Limit didn't hire the Chaz for the job. What did I say? That sour grapes? The schedule is not easy. That's what I said is sour grapes. I don't get it. High Limit has most of July off. Okay. It has most of July off. They're still racing 4 events. One is separated by, 2 of them are separated by a week's time. So they're racing 4 times in a month, which, okay. Okay, there is the King's Royal. Okay, there is that thing called the King's Royal that they're bouncing around on. July is PA racing as well. That's when they do the swing, and then they go to Knoxville, I-55, right there as well. Chaz, I gave you a shout out today on X saying months ago that World Racing Group better play nicer, people will leave. You called this one several. I've called a lot of stuff months and years ahead because I understand the game of how they play it. I don't get information sometimes. That's why I say I just get on here and say what I think, because I don't necessarily get on here with information and intel from people and this is what I think and based on someone telling me. I just know how business operates. I know how people move. I know how they play chess. I know how they move their pieces. I know how these little Caesars like to act. It's a microcosm of the real world and how it operates. It's very easy to see who they're idolizing and who they're trying to be. They're trying to be a Caesar. They're trying to be the king of the world. That's what man's always wanted to be. And in these little worlds, dirt worlds, political worlds, NASCAR worlds, all these guys are just trying to be the king of the world. So it's easy to figure out how these moves are made just by understanding basic human psychology. It's simple. So some of these things, it's not hard to understand without being provided information. You have a brain, right? You can figure things out without someone telling you. It's not hard. I do get how we're dumbed down in society today to believe that we must be told something for it to be true. But I just, I believe there's a lot more deceitfulness in the world today. I don't always believe what people tell me based on their motivational tactics, based on who they are, what they might be after, what they might be going towards, how they're trying to move their chips to ultimately win this game that they're after to accomplish. So a lot of the stuff I get, the Landon Crowleys, this, that, and the others, I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing based on human psychology and historical documentation of how people use and move and manipulate the art of war to take over and get what they want. It's basically coming back to greed at the end of the day. Jacob Allen said last night he doesn't want to sit all week to race on the weekend. Okay. Well, he'll be on at 7 Eastern, 7 Central, 8 Eastern tonight on the Gravel Show, him and Logan Schuchart. So stay tuned for that. We'll see what else he has to say. Brenham Crouch, another high limit full timer. I am hearing that as well. Not a big deal to me. We'll see how he does. I mean, he did perform well in IRA. I was relatively surprised, but IRA is like ASCS. Let's see what you do when you get off the porch. The high limit series could have some more, and off the porch, Brenham Crouch, of course, from Texas. I'm not saying off the porch. I'm just talking about the porch of the lower divisions of the sport. The High Limit Series could have some more time off if World Racing Group would simply take off the kids' gloves and ban all high limit regular teams from World of Outlaws sanctioned events. Ooh. When the CART IRL split happened, the original one, not the 90s version. See, CART and IRL, that was a battle going on 2 times. There was 2 go-rounds for CART IRL, the IndyCar split. Originally, in the 80s when they did the split, NASCAR and Indianapolis got together, and this is when you can start understanding how that was all schematic in the 90s to help NASCAR rise and for the Indianapolis situation to be overtaken in the open wheel scene. In the previous split, NASCAR and Indianapolis got together and banned the drivers who went to CART from the Indy 500 and the Charlotte World 600, because drivers used to cross race a lot back then. They banned them both from both events. So that would be interesting if the World of Outlaws ban high limit regulars from their events. I mean, it is America. As much as I got the freedom of speech to sit here, a private business has the right to refuse service and stuff, correct? I mean, technically they would be within their grounds to ban high limit teams. I mean, it would definitely not be publicly popular. They would definitely get the headlines covered. But they could do it. They could really do it. And you know what? That would hurt High Limit way more and more. I mean, if High Limit said, okay, well, we'll ban outlaw racers from our events. World of Outlaws is already halfway doing that job for you. So that would be huge. Wow, what a sinister way of going at it. Rich Smith coming in and hot with the Hamas way of doing things. Jeez. That would be interesting. And here comes Spike with all of these disgusting things. Now he's going to talk about things he wants to do to Hannah Newhouse. We got to avoid the Spike comments. Now he's talking about Nicole, lift her shirt off. Oh my God. It's time. We already had to put Spike in timeout. Jeez. Tell David Gravel he's going to need that button. Let's see. Where did we take off here? Hannah Newhouse. Oh God. Now let's just take care of Jordan too. Jeez, these people. The uncivilized. Brenham Crouch, new driver in the Zimco car. Who's that? I can't see because of all these blasphemies. From the River Chaz. Okay, so you don't know for a fact. Houston's announcer Sean Nestet has no interest, or Nestet, or whatever, has no interest in traveling. Okay, cool. Just a guess. I think there's an outside chance Shots could join High Limits. They would have to offer him big money as he's been loyal to the World Outlaws for years. It would be something fresh for Shots and add more legitimacy to High Limit. They need him more than he needs them. I would say that for sure. I'd be sour too when Dirt Tracker's getting the spotlight in all the interviews. I don't know what this means. Chaz, you need to announce with Raudman. Not against it. Would be fun. Crouch just announced High Limits. Okay, that's fine. I don't know why that's a big name. That's less than the Landon Crowley announcement. Austin Lloyd. That's who I was talking about. Austin Lloyd, which is the pit reporter at Huset's, I believe. Austin Lloyd is the guy I was thinking. He's not the announcer. That's right, because they got a pit reporter and an announcer, I believe, at Huset's every week. Austin Lloyd is the one I think will slide over and replace Chase. Zimco number 1 going to Chase Dietz, who will be in the Crouch 11, though. I'm hearing... I don't know if I could say it. I'm hearing... Let's just say there's some shoeies potentially going in the car. Some shoeies potentially going in that 11 car. That's what I'm hearing. And some buddies maybe going to the 83 car. That's what I'm hearing. They already replaced, I don't know. Drake York should go to the out. Hold on. They already replaced him. Are we talking about Chase Raudman? They got news out or something? Have they made a post? Hold on. Let's see. If World of Outlaws made a post on who they're adding to the fray? Let's see. We're looking it up. Oh, there it is. Oh, no. Oh, they did announce it. Oh, live on the show here. They went below the sprint car belt. They brought in Connor Wade. Oh, my God. Connor Wade's a good guy. I ain't gonna give Connor a hard time. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen, announced live on the show today as it happened. As I was going live, it looks like. Connor Wade is the new pit reporter for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. How do y'all feel about that? About the same. That's shit for Yang, I would say. You knew, oh yeah, you can get your World of Outlaws brake calipers. Jeez, I can't believe they're trying every dollar they can off this brand. But Connor Wade, any reactions to that? Connor Wade as the replacement for Chase Raudman. He is good. Anton Hernandez knows he is good. I said I was happy for JJ, laugh out loud. But yeah, who doesn't love to see Lil Crawley get an opportunity? He deserves it, right? On the brake caliper of your left front wheel, apparently, that's the case there, Brandon. Off the brake caliper, his debut was on your ass, sending you for a ride in that 7S car. Now, if he goes to the Outlaws and does that to one of those boys, oh, he ain't too stout. He gonna need personal security. He's a good dude. Connor speaks well and is informed. Connor Wade's great. Connor Wade's awesome. You laughing? It ain't gonna be funny. He goes in there and does what he did to you, Brandon. That ain't gonna be funny. Do people need a refresher? Do you still have that video up of what Landon Crowley did to you? Hold on. Do we got your video up here? Hold on. Where's it at? Videos. Do we need to refresh people's minds? Oh, you took it down. You took it down, you little bitch. You did, didn't you? Let's see. And this is when I was like, okay, oh, nope, here it is. Here it is. We got it. This is the debut for Landon Crowley in the 7S car at the Power Eye event about a month ago-ish. And that black-green car you see is Brandon Hanks in the comment section right there. Bam! Leave the left front at home is a late model term. And Landon Crowley is going to show the Outlaws, no. That is a transgender statement. Leave the left front at home is because if you don't, I'm going to hit that sumbitch and send you a flipping. All right? So Carson Macedo, David Gravel, Sheldon, all you Outlaw guys, this was a fair warning. You could say, like Brandon Hanks said here, not clear, but the hammer's coming. The hammer is coming. Crawdadding your ass over. And I'm just messing with Landon Crowley. I think it's hilarious. Brandon Hanks obviously thinks it's funny too. But I'm just saying, these iRacing moves, and I called it. I said, this is an iRacing thing. This is where people learn. This is how people race in iRacing right here. Dirty. And Landon Crowley's probably turned 10,000. He's got habits from iRacing that you just can't unlearn. And it is so close. Sometimes those habits, I think, do just come up when you're in the real car. It happened with me. That's why I almost won my third fucking race. Because I had built habits and abilities within the game. Now, I raced in a more respectable period of sim racing. But that's coming to the Outlaws, guys. Aggressive style moves. It'll be exciting. It'll be exciting to see him do that to the 2-car when they're racing for a championship. Let's see what happens. Hell, I mean, Cole Macedo did it at the World Finals last year, right? Who cares? Oh, we got us a super chat. Somebody sent it. Drivers are slaves to the broken point system. 2 last is 1 win. Either stop counting every race or award points proportional to the purse payout. I think that's a good idea. The point system is junk in the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. I think. Some people don't think that. Some people like the consistency being rewarded. Don't mess with it. Don't become NASCAR. If you mess with the points championship at all in any way nowadays, it seems like people just label you NASCAR. It don't even matter if you're like, we're going to award more points for winning than before. Oh, well, you're just trying to be NASCAR. Oh, my God. Holy shit. Fuck you. Go. Why don't you just go kneel with Bubba Wallace and Black Lives Matter? Fuck you. Just by doing a little adjustment. You know, Lucas Oil, they did the whole championship. Oh, NASCAR, blah, 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 blah. Why don't you go do this and blah, blah, blah. Appealing to liberals when you change your championship formats. That's what they'll start saying out there. It's insane. 7S won't make it out of the B main. Oh, that's wrong. Landon Crowley will be, in my opinion, there's a higher upside to Landon Crowley than there is Robbie Price. That's just my opinion. Watched him race a lot. Watch Robbie Price race a lot. I just think Landon Crowley, don't want to say he's got it in his blood, but he does have a pretty good teacher. And maybe I might be a little biased because he's from the South. Maybe a little biased. But I'm telling y'all, when they open the year next season, early in the year, and they are racing on these short tracks, down in Texas and in that region, Landon Crowley's got a shot to shine on some of these speedways. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a driving style that these outlaw guys ain't been used to. They've been used to short tracks in California where it's all rutted up and shit. What are you going to do when you get on a glass ice rink on a quarter mile in Texas and you ain't used to doing it? And these other guys are. So I wouldn't sleep on the 7S next year. I'm joking at the wreck there with Brandon Hanks and all this shit, but he's going to be good. I think it will improve. It will take time, but he's going to be good. He's going to be good. Sides clearly just wants to cook hot dogs and hang out in the work area and cash someone's daddy's check. He doesn't care if the 7S is near the front. I will say Jason Sides does enjoy the road life and the camaraderie and the fun. There is fun out there. Hell, I'm telling myself, nope, just stay at home, just build up some collateral and cash and don't go running down the road. But there's fun on the road. There is fun. But I do not think that Tim Crawley and them have the money to fund that team for a year. Not even close, in my opinion. In my opinion. Can you call it a championship if you're competing against less than 10 other competitors in a series? You can manufacture it that way. That's what they've been doing, right? I mean, 12 to 14 has been the championship battle the last, how long? Even in the Outlaws. So, I mean, 12 to 14 to 10 really ain't much of a difference. The Outlaws would be hurting themselves if they ban any driver, let alone a series. Fans want to see some of the... I mean, it depends. He's back to, who knows? Chase looked unbathed and hungover many times. Okay, we're not going to speak on the private life. Crawley is better than Pierce. Anton Hernandez said it right there. Anton Hernandez is better than both of them, by the way. Anton Hernandez, this guy commenting right here, is better than Landon Crawley and Robbie Pierce, Price, if he would have got the opportunities. Brandon Hanks and Anton Hernandez, two racers that are probably better than both Landon Crawley and Robbie Price. They're just too old in this professional racing world and people are scared about championship chases being like NASCAR. We need to stop being like NASCAR and searching for young gun drivers to drive our race cars. Let's get proven people on these regional areas to get advanced into the sport. Who gives a fuck about their age? You say it's because of my age, girl. But a age ain't nothing but a number. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. 25 is old today. It's sad, ain't it? It is sad. The big boys will slap that 7S. Will slap that 7S. It's going to be interesting. If the Outlaws lose more than one of Baston, McFadden, Schatz, Macedo, their roster is going to be pretty lame. I would say out of those names you just listed, I would say Schatz, Macedo are in, just on my thoughts. Just my thoughts. Schatz, Macedo in. Baston, McFadden on the fence. I'm hearing Baston's really considering high limit. I'm hearing that's a legitimate concern, but there's probably things changing every day with these decisions. You don't know if a World Racing Group member is calling up to make a bid. I think the bidding war is on in one way or another behind the scenes. Get used to winning on a half mile, and you can whoop up on the chicken racing on the kiddie tracks. Okay. Anton ballparked the car under yellow. That takes commitment to the throttle pedal that Crawley will never have. 25 years is old. Then I'm ancient. Okay, all right. Okay, everybody. Well, we're going to keep this just a little bit under an hour. We're actually a little bit over an hour now. But that's some of my thoughts. That's what I think. I want to thank everybody for sending those super chats today. It means a lot, even though there was only two for like $6. Bruce Schmidt and Robot Chicken. What the drivers are the slaves until they change the championship format. That's definitely interesting, something to think about. Want to definitely thank everyone for tuning in today. I'm sure there'll be a new set of things to talk about tomorrow. And keep in mind, top of the hour coming here, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, on the Gravel Show, David Gravel's YouTube channel. It will be Logan Schuhart and Jacob Allen Shark Racing on there. I'm sure they're going to talk about all kinds of things, High Limit and World of Outlaws. It could be very, very interesting. And now we have a rookie driver. I'm sure they'll talk about that. Chase Raudman, will they talk about how they feel? Obviously, Chase Raudman's someone they've been around a lot in the last few years, too. I'm sure they all have an opinion as well. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, like the video, comment below, join the membership if you want to. As always, be sure to subscribe. The gear, I know I'm not wearing it. I'm wearing this badass gold hat, which is available. But we got some nice shirts and things. We're probably going to, here soon, I'm thinking to potentially raise some Australia money. This banner here that you see, the KLR banner that we had at our other scenario, this was actually event used. And I've been in this memorabilia market with the sports cards recently. And this is the event used barricade banner from Kyle Larson's pitting area at his last Chili Bowl victory. I believe it was 2021, actually. I know exactly when it was. 2021, because I was working the pits with him, helping out some people, and got this gifted to me. And hey, I wonder how much that would fetch. If we did like an auction, $20 a spot, 200 spots, you think they could afford the plane flight over there to Australia, catch the end of this shit? I don't know. No, and Brian, no stealing involved when it's given to you. That's not possible. JVI was a big sponsor at the time, and that's how that worked out. But maybe do a giveaway. Maybe do a raffle, something on that. I think I want to do something with that thing to potentially go over there to Australia. It'd be pretty fun. So we're thinking about it. Until then, you can always get some merch on the site. Hats, shirts, gloves, mugs, whatever the hell you want. I'm selling my soul, not to the devil, though. Not to the devil. Promise you there. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you tomorrow at 5 Central, 6 Eastern here live on the Chaz. Thanks for tuning in.